a hole in the law, or they thought a loophole in the law.
Yeah. It's a lot that
I find it, I don't know about you, I find it much easier to think of locking up lawyers than soldiers.
I think a lot of people agree with you. The other thing that you've been writing about lately, which you've been going through, is this makeover, this Christopher Hitchens makeover. Instead of doing it on a reality show, they wrote about it, but you underwent a significant makeover? Did it feel like a significant makeover?
Well, the series is called The Limits of Self-Improvement. I mean, there's this huge industry now to make people look more buff and handsome and so forth. Well, you've got clips of how I used to look.
Yeah, and in every picture you're smoking.
Yeah, so
every
I
scene.
stopped that. I had to do that.
Why did you agree to do this sort of thing?
Because I thought there is this huge industry of illusion. You know, everyone can have a new life, a new body, a new beginning. I think a lot of people get ripped off by it, and I went to be wrapped up like a Chilean sea bass in leaves and steam and so on. They said I'd shed exfoliation, all nonsense. I looked exactly the same. I had a Brazilian bikini wax.
Awful. See, now was that a follow-up to the waterboarding story, or
much infinite? Now, if I read that we were waxing our prisoners in Guantanamo Bay, and because as long as, but for men, by the way, infinitely worse. Yeah. Because ladies, maybe you know this. In order to rip, you have to grip. It's much, much worse for a guy to have a Brazilian wax. I was really surprised by how painful it was.
Did the people in your life appreciate?
Agonizing it was, and how little use to me it was in profile, so to speak. What the piece is, the piece is a satire on this health narcissism industry, but it did persuade me that I should stop smoking. In the course of it, I thought, no, I can't do this anymore.
See, I wondered did you feel fear at any point? I mean, as you get older and you realize that you've smoked a lot for a long time, you probably haven't lived the healthiest life like a lot of people. Did you have a moment where you thought, I need to change my life, not just for satire, but just for yourself? Did you feel like something was up?
Oh, sure. Yeah, and my children kept saying they couldn't stand it, and then the taste in the mouth was awful, and I was getting less and less pleasure out of it, and more fear.
Which was more difficult to do, waterboarding or quitting smoking?
Quitting smoking. Malcolm X, in his autobiography, says that giving up heroin in jail, cold turkey, was reasonably easy compared to giving up smoking. It's the most perfect addiction. Well, in case it helps anyone out there, if you aren't hungry, it'll give you an appetite if you smoke. If you are hungry and there isn't any food in the immediate future, you can dull your pain of hunger by smoking. It wakes you up if you're tired. It makes you sleepy if you're not tired. It helps you go to bed. It's the perfect self-administered micro drug. It's the little glowing friend that never lets you down. Yeah. In fact, I can't think why I gave the shit up. But you have to, because all the time it's being your best friend, it's being your worst enemy.
Sure. God Is Not Great. You're turning it into a movie? Are you looking to make
Hoping to make it into a motion picture, yeah. Major motion picture.
Like as opposed to a minor?
Because I think now is the time, because
as a documentary or as a scripted piece of fiction?
Documentary.
Okay.
No, solid documentary, going to the countries where the parties have got throwing their weight around, talking to the brave people who resist it, going through the holy books and showing how they're full of contradictions.
Is it an angrier version of the Bill Maher documentary, Religious?
No, funnier.
God Is Not Great is now in paperback.
Tougher and funnier.
Christopher Hitchens, everybody. Thanks, man. Really good to see you. Christopher Hitchens, we'll be right back. All right, stick around because we're going to take you in.